Hey guys, it's Monday again. Welcome to EDM News, another episode all about what happened in the past week in the electronic dance music scene. First up, ARMIN van Buuren did a great interview in the Netherlands TV and a talk show all about him, his life, his journey as a DJ. If you want to check it out in full, I try to find it and link it down below. But he's basically talking about his journey, his struggles, him being the #1 spot of the DJ Mag Top 100, and him actually being during that time the most frustrated and unhappy person actually, because a lot of fans were talking shit about him being too commercial and this kind of stuff. So basically the struggles and the problems of a superstar DJ, also him having to decide between going to a football game of his son or going to a festival, making a ton of cash and playing in front of 40,000 people. It's very interesting, and especially considering that since Avicii died, a lot of DJs, like almost all big DJs, came forward and talked about mental health and about their problems. It's kind of refreshing. It's nice to see that these people struggle the same. No matter how rich or famous you are, you still have struggles. I mean, other struggles, not struggles about money, how to pay rent, but maybe even bigger struggles because you're in a position where there's a lot more pressure on you and a lot or more people are dependent on you. For example, if I just stop making music, it's just me suffering. But if, for example, David Guetta stops, there are like 50 to 100 people, maybe even more on this planet depending on him. The promoters, the booker, the managers like for this continent, then the entire team behind the label, and like there's a lot to consider. Next up, a huge release by fan favorite deadmau5. He released a huge remix package that was anticipated for already quite a long time, and he's releasing less and less, so it's really refreshing to hear something new remixes of songs that most of his fans love. Next up, another favorite, I mean, I don't even want to call him anymore a DJ or producer. It's actually a living meme, Marshmello. He appeared in the WWE SmackDown and won the title very briefly. They just put him into this weird storyline. I mean, you know, like this wrestling stuff. I mean, I don't know, it's an American kind of thing. I mean, marketing-wise, it's really interesting how you can position someone with a mask. He was also a ninja warrior. He's like really big and like these computer games. What was it again? Yeah, Fortnite. I mean, like since he's wearing the mask, you can put anyone behind it and let him do anything perfect, which like really, again, it's a meme, it's a marketing campaign, it's working beautiful. But the question is, how long? Let me know in the comments. Are you still a Marshmello fan? I mean, I still like the music, it's good stuff, but it gets a little bit annoying, like this attention grabbing, like it's a little much. Anyways, now it's time. Jeff is taking over. He's back here on EDM News. I'm really happy that he's back. He's taking care of the second part of the news for this week.
What it is, what it was, what it's going to be, YouTube. I'm Jeff POSH, back from 2 weeks holiday. I was in Southern California. Ups, downs, highs and lows. Weather change, back to San Francisco. I'm a little beat, a little under the weather, but let's jump right in. 4 attendees of Auckland's Listen In Festival landed themselves in the hospital. Let's talk about it. So at least 4 concert goers found themselves in the hospital. So 3 of the 4 attendees that were hospitalized, their condition was due to suspected drug consumption. So at the time of this video, the hospital attendees said, yeah, they are in stable condition, so it looks like they'll be okay, no fatalities. So the organizers of Listen In, they describe it as like a concentrated version of Listen Out, and that's Australia's primary national dance festival. Performers of the event included Flume, Schoolboy Q, and Diplo. It's also held at the Mount Smart Stadium in Australia. So in addition to the possible drug consumption from some of the attendees, there were a number of attendees seen scaling the fence, and it's like towers 25 meters in the air, and some of them fell. So it's not sure if it's all, because of drug consumption, or if some of the hospitalizations were due to this injury of people trying to scale the fence. We have no inconclusive evidence of how many people were injured, but we can speculate that it's possibly more injuries due to this scaling of the fence. So the staff, the people that put the festival together. They felt that they had good security measures in place, which meant the master majority of the people, which were over 20,000 people, had a great night and were super safe. So shout out to them, keeping everybody safe. Moving on. Martin Garrix. Let's talk about Martin Garrix. So Martin Garrix appears to have a new collaboration, and it's with Timbaland. So there's a lot of list of high-profile producers that this guy, Martin, has been working with. And now you can add Timbaland to that list as well. So if you thought this year's mainstream collaborations would stop with Garrix, you're wrong, because they just keep rolling, and they seem to just keep getting better. And we mean as far as the production, the mixing, and how all that sounds. Whether you're into underground, club music, or radio records, they are produced very well to the highest standards. So yeah, Martin's on his G. He's on the top of his game right now. Both artists posted on their social media accounts, "Never stop learning," and "Magic in the making with this genius" were some of the quotes used for those posts. Who doesn't know about Timbaland? Biggest producer in the 90s, Missy, Aaliyah, Genuine, the list goes on. Widespread critical acclaim for all his contributions throughout the entertainment world. Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning, the list goes on. And in a very small time span, Martin Garrix has pretty much done the same in his respective genre. At the top of his game, third year of being nominated #1 DJ. He has his new imprint, Stamp Records, and he's bringing a lot of new EDM acts to the forefront. At the time of this video, we don't have a date of when this music will be released, but stay on the lookout. You know we'll keep you updated. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about Martin Garrix teaming up with Timbaland. Moving on. MDMA psychotherapist gives guidelines for recreational dosing. Let's talk about it. So Dr. Ben Sessa, MD, suggested proper use of MDMA shouldn't result in a crazy crash or a come down. Organizations like MAPS, which stands for Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, so they push to legitimize like all the bad drugs, all the drugs that are scorned, that everybody says you shouldn't use. He's trying to show that they're psychoactive and medicinal purposes if used correctly, and a lot of people don't use these things correctly. So here's what he has to say about that. So here's what the doc said. Some of the unwanted side effects are excessive dosing, lack of sleep, excessive exercise, mixing with other substances, and alcohol. So he's saying that all those things and in different combinations can cause negative effects for the user. He says that you should never start with more than 125 milligrams, and that every time you dose after that, it should be 2 hours, and you should subsequently come down with smaller doses after that. One of his tweets was, in the first hour, 125 milligrams. The second hour, you should be taking 60 milligrams. During the fourth hour, you might want to take 30 milligrams. During the sixth hour, 15 milligrams. And here's where it gets funny. After 8 hours, he says, get a cab, go home, and go to sleep. So yeah, it is some disciplinary if you're going to use it, and he knows people are going to be using it. Whether it's true or not, they say over 10 million pills just in Ibiza alone get swallowed every season. So whether that's true or not, we know there are a lot of people using them. These people are adults, they're grown, they can do what they want to do. I think the doc just wants to put the information out there and put good, useful information out there. The information is always useful, and if people are going to be indulging, it's good to have some guidelines and some knowledge behind what you're taking from a doctor himself, just so you have a little bit more safety, a little bit more awareness, and you don't run into any unwanted problems. Leave some comments below. Let's strike up a conversation. It's a really good one, safe one, and important one. Coming to you live and direct from San Francisco, California, I'm Jeff Posh. Thank you for watching this episode of EDM News, where it's one thing I know and it's two things that's real. If you want to hear the real, you're going to hear it here first on EDM News. You know the slogan, one ear to the streets, pulse of the culture in our veins. Let's kick it back to John. Peace.
Huge thanks to Jeff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want to stay up to date with everything concerning EDM news. See you again next week here on this channel.